Hello and welcome back. If you've been here before, that is, thank you. And if this is your first time, my name is Deborah Carr. I write historical fiction in that name. I also write a contemporary romance series as Georgina Troy, and I write thrillers, this is one of them, as Ella Drummond. So today I have tea in my lovely little Dunelm, it's from Dunelm, bumblebee mug. I love bumblebees and puffins and dragonflies. I have reasons for all three. However, what I'm doing at the moment is I've been sorting through stuff in my house. I have so much junk, it's ridiculous. I've lived here, I think it's 23 years, probably 24 years. And I know people have said in the past, you know, the best thing to keep your house clear of excess stuff is to move. Well, I've actually been here obviously too long because I have so much stuff. And one thing I have an enormous amount of are manuscripts. This is a smaller one. Please excuse if you can hear the noise in the background. That's one of my two dogs who are in with me at the moment. This is about 80,000 words, so this is not a massive manuscript. I mostly have historicals, and they are about this big because they had to be typed double-line spacing, and I don't think this is straight actually, sorry, double-line spacing, and also they're 100,000 words. And because I started writing for the second time in 2005, back then we didn't email our books to publishers or agents, we typed them up. So there were paper copies. So I have so many copies. I do not know why I have so many copies, because all of those books, bar one, have been published. So it's really quite mad. So I'm now destroying them in the process of tearing them up and destroying them because they just take up space. I have got 3 bin liners full. I've got another bin liner waiting to be filled. My daughter's doing that at the moment. And in my garage, I have a big box with I don't know how many manuscripts in, and I have 2 small crates with more. It's insane. Why I've always kept them, I don't know. So I brought this one in because I'm not sure I'm going to keep it or not. I have my reasons for not. I'll tell you about that when I've done something with it. So apart from that, the reason I'm recording this, it's a Sunday, and I usually record on a Thursday or a Friday, is because it has been a very busy week. So because the sun has come out over the last few days, I decided, oh, my garden looks terrible. My, what do you call them? Bluebells, they're all grown. The leaves are about that high, all down the side and around my garden. The bluebells themselves aren't out yet, but they will be soon. Sorry. Yes, my bluebells. So they'll be out soon. And I have some camellias out and I have some daffodils out. So the colour is coming into the garden now. And I thought, let me tidy this up. I had the urge to do this because the sun was out. So my son very kindly tidied up the hedge. I've got a hedge all the way down the back of my garden. And I have lawns. When I say lawns, they're not massive lawns, but they're awkward to get from one to the other. So I've got a lawn down the back, down the side, and 2 at the front, either side of, I have a drive. So it was a bit of a faff. And I could never understand why people, my late husband, said, oh no, you don't want to mow after it's rained, and the first mow after winter is always the worst. I'd obviously never done it. It was exhausting. It was so exhausting. And then, but I did do it. And then because there was so much garden waste, I knew I needed a skip because what else could I do with it all? There was so much. So on Tuesday, I spent several hours of the day while my son was at work filling the skip. Yes, so it's been one. And then on Thursday, I decided I actually need to sort through these manuscripts. Obviously, it's the time for spring cleaning. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I've been doing, and that's why I'm late this week. I'm currently doing, I find there was a bit of a hiccup with my edits, my proofs. So my proofreader had to redo something. And I finally got those back yesterday afternoon. I've gone through all the comments and now I've got to do a final read through of the book. And I hate doing that because I have now read through this book, I don't know how many times, and so, but I'll be glad to get it out the way because, one of my sisters said, it's one thing reading a book once, but you write them and then you read them again and again and again as you do all these different edits. She said, I couldn't be bothered to do all that. And I have to say, it can be a bit of a faff, but you do it because you know that each time it improves the book, it tightens it, makes it much better. And of course, what you do want more than anything is for your reader to have the best experience reading your book and to really enjoy it. So it will be worthwhile, and I'm always glad when I've done it, and that's what I'll be doing today. I then will spend the week getting back to edits on my witchy book, The Witching Hour, as I said, so I'm loving that. Yes, so it's a very unexciting week actually this week. Not really much to share. I've literally been doing gardening. I've been sorting through manuscripts, and I have been waiting for my edits, which have now arrived. But the sun is out. I'm in my studio, so all is right with the world. I'm very happy with that. All is not right with the world. We all know all is not right with the world. The news is awful. I tend to try and keep away from it as much as I can, but even I can't ignore what's happening at the moment. However, one thing about books is they are the perfect escape to real life. And I'm incredibly grateful that I live in a fictional world for a living, because, yeah, real life's a bit too scary at the moment, isn't it? So I'm going to go back to spending my time deep in my books, my edits, but it's a lovely romance between, this is Skye and Joe. Joe is a firefighter and Skye is a lovely young girl from Edinburgh. And yes, they're basically thrown together at Hollyhock Farm. He was asked by Brodie to help out Lexi. She's heavily pregnant and has to take time away from looking at the farm, after the farm. And Skye was asked by Letty's friend Mel, who we met in book 2. And so they come together. They have met before. The book starts with a fire at a hotel, and they clash there. He's the firefighter at the fire, and she insists on returning back into the hotel to her room to collect a book. He can't understand that, but to her it's her mother's private notebook, her diary, that she has written all sorts of things in, and that Skye's only recently been given by her grandmother. And so it matters to her because her mum died a few years ago and she actually knows very little about her mum. And then she decides, so they're thrown together, fireworks and that sort of thing, but they try and make the best of it. And while she's over on the island, because she only thought she was coming for a long weekend initially, she decides to search for her father, who she doesn't know. She knows nothing about him. His name is the only thing, and she presumes this is the man named in her mother's diary. But her mother doesn't actually put any detail worth having for her. And Joe actually offers to help her try and trace her father. So there's like a couple of stories in there. So, yeah. And Joe's mum's over. Joe's mum's is quite a character in this as well. She's returned from France, where he lived for quite a few years when he was a teenager with his mum. So quite a lot happens in the book. Actually, now I talk about it, I don't mind actually getting back to the edits, because that actually is a nice story, if I say so myself. And yes, that's our April the 19th. So we're a bit late doing this because of various reasons. But yes, so that actually maybe it won't be so bad. I'll actually get back to reading. I'm only reading through it now because, as I said, I've done all my comments. But that's what I'm doing on this Sunday, because I have had days off this week. I've certainly done very little work-wise on my books this week because I've been doing my garden and sorting through my manuscripts. I really need to just get back to some sort of routine again, and I will do. I am doing today. So, it's my dad's 89th birthday tomorrow, bless his heart. So I'll be seeing him tomorrow, and my boiler will be serviced. There's all sorts happening. I hope you have a great new week, because we're a bit late for this week that's just gone. And thank you for joining me.